So it's that time of year again where I'm going to do a review of 2022 as it applies to my YouTube channel. I did this after my first year, so I'm going to be doing things like comparing some of the stats, discussing some of the extra things that I brought on board and stuff like that. But before I do any of that, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's supported me, subscribed, watched the videos, liked, joined the Facebook group. Everything is just so important to me. I can't believe that from 2 years ago in January, this came from just a sort of idea for me to upload 3 videos and then sort of be done with it, to 2 years on having a sort of established YouTube channel. I've now sort of got my name recognised amongst the keepers of the craft in our country, and that's all thanks to you guys for following and supporting, so I genuinely mean it. Thank you so much. So I'm going to start things off by talking about the Facebook group. And the reason for that is because when I sort of first started the channel and I was trying to respond to every question, I wanted something which was more of a community forum where people could sort of share ideas, ask for advice, and then not just sort of rely on me getting back to them, because obviously, you know, a lot of people, in fact, the majority of my audience are based in America. So this time last year, the Facebook group had 500 people in it, and that's now over double that. It's just over 1,100 or closer to 1,200, I think. And the main thing that I'm so proud of it for is it's attracted the sort of people that I really wanted to attract, which were sort of professionals of the industry. So I wanted to be able to answer questions. And when I first set it up, I was sort of on there diligently trying my best to answer everything. And now when I go on there, you know, people have asked questions. By the time I've logged on, it's got like 10 answers, all of which are exactly the right thing. And I just think, that's amazing. That is exactly what it's there for. And I hope that just grows and grows and becomes a sort of really helpful resource for people, even without my input. You know, and saying without my input, there are people on that group who are so much better than I am. I mean, we now know that Dave Smith's joined the group. He's the best reverse glass artist in the world. But you've got Rod Treese on there, Sean Michael Felix. They're world-class glass artists at the top of their game. So having those people in our group, being able to offer advice is just priceless, really. So I'm so pleased that they're on there and that it's got a growing sort of community of really established artists as well as beginners. So yeah, it's so good and I absolutely love it. And I'm gonna, no matter how long the channel goes for, I'll always be a part of the Facebook group, and I'll always, you know, want to help people out, feedback, and I feel like I've met some proper friends on there. You know, people who are in contact with me regularly. I feel really close with them, and there's no way after I would, you know, hang the sort of YouTube gloves up, so to speak, which is no time soon, that I would turn my back on that. It's one of my proudest achievements. So yeah, that's covered that. So another thing I want to be really open about, which I did last year as well, is kind of what I gained from this channel financially, I suppose, because I obviously gained a lot from it in terms of personal satisfaction, the fact that I've, you know, met some amazing people, and a lot of other things. But I just want to make sure that I'm, you know, transparent and open about, well, yeah, what the channel brings in for me. So before I go into the kind of financials of the actual channel, YouTube itself doesn't really pay a lot. It's you get ad revenue after you've hit a certain threshold, which I did last year, but it's not a lot and it's sporadic. It's based on sort of times of year. You know, it's seasonal at the moment. December is quite a good time. But it's also based on the amount of views as well. So when I'd sort of first set it up, I was watching videos about people talking about how to develop a YouTube channel. And all of them said YouTube ad revenue is one of those bonus money things that comes in because you just can't rely on it. So you need to set up other things. So I set up a Patreon. I did that last year, but it's still going strong. And that's where people can kind of support the channel with a small monthly donation. And I try to make sure that people who do support me get their money's worth in terms of, you know, content that I provide on Patreon. There'll be, you know, I do an old sort of book, a PDF version of a book every month. Fonts, they're free ones, but I've categorized them alphabetically, so, you know, it takes a lot of the effort out. Free vector designs, exclusive video on there. So, you know, I like to feel that people who are subscribed to Patreon get their money's worth, but I just also want to say thank you, because to me it's an above and beyond thing. You know, YouTube's free. You know, you could watch my videos for free, and like I do with loads of videos. So it's amazing to me that people like them so much that they want to keep them going and support the channel. So thank you so much to my patrons, and it really does keep the channel going. And I've said that before, that money gets put straight back into things. That's how I buy my glass, my gold leaf and stuff like that. So that's one avenue. It brings in a little bit more than my monthly YouTube revenue. Then I've got other things. I set up something called Buy Me a Coffee. So it's a kind of one-off payment where you can sort of almost tip someone or buy them a coffee or a beer in my case. And it just means someone can say if they like something and support you, they can buy you a coffee or 2 coffees. And that's been really good. It's like sporadic income, but the people who have generously donated have normally bought me a few coffees, and it's absolutely amazing when that happens. So again, it's another income stream, but it's also another thing I really want to say thank you for, and thank you to the people who've donated to it. Then there's sort of the other avenues, which have been sort of quite good really. Firstly, Kittle. I've done a few videos on that. It's a design platform where there are a load of templates and you can subscribe to it and edit your own template, put in your own text, change the colours, export vectors and stuff like that. If you subscribe to Kittle through the link that's in the description of all of my videos, it won't cost you any more, but Kittle give me 50% of that subscription ongoing. So that's been, I mean, it's slow starting, but you know, every little thing stacking up helps, and it's the sort of thing that helps me keep the channel going. Because, you know, like I say, if it was just for YouTube money, it would definitely not be worth doing. But, you know, with all these extra little things, it makes it worthwhile. So lastly, just about a month ago, I received a grant from Heritage Crafts, and that is absolutely amazing. It's not just about the grant, it's about the recognition of me being established in this craft, because in the UK, reverse glass sign painting and a lot of the things that come with it, like gold leaf application, brilliant cutting, all of that sort of stuff, is on a red list of endangered crafts. So to be sort of recognised in a really, really small list of sort of people that they'll call the keepers of the craft is an honour. You know, seeing my name's up there with those people who are so much better than me and have been doing it for so much longer is just a great feeling. So that's my main bonus from getting recognition from the Heritage Crafts. But they gave me some money, and with that money, they've said, what can I do with it? I've said I'm going to make 3 videos, but I'll be able to make more, because basically I bought a load of gold leaf with the Heritage Craft money. So anything where I use gold leaf, I will be sort of saying that that's a video that I can credit to them, as well as my patrons, obviously. But it's a great, great charity. I'm going to put a link to it in the description. I really recommend you check it out. It's eye-opening what crafts are on there and how endangered they are. And sort of endangered basically means it's unlikely to last another generation. And it tells you why, the sort of things like expensive materials, you know, the sort of substituting of these technologies with, well, modern technology really, you know, the replacement of painting with vinyl, all of the sort of things that we're not so keen on, but you know, it makes sense in the industry to kind of keep costs low. So it's, like I say, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I think you should check it out. It's really, really interesting and a great charity to support. So what I'm going to do now is jump over into my laptop, and then we'll go through some of the stats on my channel. Then I can show you some of the funny comments I've had as well. Got a few trolls. Oh, that's a point actually. I completely forgot when I was mentioning the Facebook group. We had our first troll. That was, you know, mental. I just thought a community of middle-aged, middle to old reverse glass gold leaf artists, and you get a dickhead on there. Unbelievable. Like, I mean, I am unoffendable. You know, I don't care what people say to me. But it's, you know, when people are starting out with something, it's something you need encouragement. You need to be constructively critical, I suppose. But, you know, it's all about the fact that these are hard, old techniques, you know, using all manual stuff. Like, there's going to be trial and error. There's going to be things that don't come out perfect, but some of those are brilliant. A lot of them are brilliant, you know, and like I say, constructive criticism, all good. But if you're going to be a dick about it, you know, it was the sort of thing I couldn't believe it. So never thought I'd have to bar someone from a Facebook group of glass artists, but there you go. First time for everything. That was a segue into some of the trolling I've had on Facebook, on YouTube, which is hilarious. So I'll just show you my favourite ones of those. Anyway, let's jump over into the laptop. Right, so hopefully if this is working correctly, you can see a little screen with me on it. So I learned how to do that lately, so pretty chuffed with that. So what I'm looking at here is my lifetime on YouTube. So that's from January 2021. So as you can see, you know, £1,700 not to be laughed at. That's a decent amount of money. But to make over 2 years, you know, if it was just the YouTube money, just YouTube ad revenue, it's not something I could keep on going with. So that's the reason I've sort of got this up for my lifetime, is because I just wanted to show these amazing stats, which is, this has had nearly 350,000 views, my channel. And to me, that's crazy. I can't believe that many people have seen my face. But 6,500 subscribers, which, hang on, let me check my notes. So this time last year, I was at 138,000 views. So over 200,000 views since the last video. I was at 12,000 watch hours, and my subscriber count was 3,248. At this point as well, my YouTube ad revenue was £386. I think I checked that, yeah. So yeah, it's certainly picked up this year. So let's go to the last 365 days and see a comparison. So this is the channel stats for the last year. You can see it kind of peaks every time I release a video, you know, because the algorithm will sort of feed that out to people. But it's steady. You know, it's looking highly unlikely I'm going to become a viral sensation based on this graph, but you never know, it might pick up. So another thing I did last year was look at my sort of top content. So looking at this time last year, this video had earned me £47, or £47.89 to be exact. And it's now at £170. Now, the reason that is brilliant for me is that, you know, I've made that video already. Despite the fact that £170 still hasn't really paid me back for it. Hasn't really paid for the materials, but it's certainly, you know, it was a 2-week video. But if that continues on, you know, on that upward trajectory like that, over time, this video will pay me back, and then it will keep earning, you know, years after I put in the effort to make it. So that's really kind of, you know, the sort of long-term benefits of doing this sort of thing, I suppose. They call it evergreen content, meaning it's not like, say, the news, where no one's going to watch last week's news. However, when it's released, you know, it might get a huge amount of viewers. With mine, it might not get a huge amount of viewers, but it's never really going to expire. You know, these are old school techniques, so hopefully people are going to be interested in them for years to come. And yeah, that hopefully the more videos I've got and the more people watch them, over time, the channel will start to sort of pay me back. So when I come to my actual finances for last year, I've just done my first ever tax return, and pleased to say I did make some profit. So all in all, from every bit of income I had based from the channel, which would have been Patreon, affiliate links, any donations and things like that, and obviously the YouTube ad revenue, that came in at £1,710. So that runs, the UK tax year runs April to April. So that's from in that space of time. Nearly £1,000 of that was spent on the channel. So when I submitted it, that was all for things like gold leaf, glass, paint, all of that sort of stuff. So in the end, the profit that I'll have to pay tax on is £756 for the year. So I'm happy with that. You know, it's a really good first year. You know, a lot of people don't make any profit, or sometimes don't even really get monetized. So I haven't done any form of sums for this year, because I haven't got to do a tax return for a little while now. But I will release that sort of information, if anyone's interested, in my next sort of end of year video. So moving on to some of the cool comments I've had. I'm not going to indulge here, I'll just get a few of my favourites up. So this is from someone, they're really, really nice and friendly. They commented a lot of times, but I just thought this was hilarious. Made me and my missus burst out laughing that my facial features resemble this bloke here. So I'd have never thought it, but let me know what you think. We've got this bloke, and he hates me. He commented twice on the same video. It's the one about how to draw scrolls. The other one was of a similar kind of, you know, tone. So I don't think he's a fan of what I do. But, you know, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Then there's the old classic, which, yeah, I'm never going to be rude to people, but I think they're quite, you know, in a lot of my old videos, the sound wasn't the best. But there are so many comments about that, and I think I have fixed it. So, you know, every time I see one, it's like, sort your sound out, I think, oh God, another one. So, yeah, that was it anyway. I just thought I'd share a couple of the things where it's sort of deemed a response or made me laugh or something like that. My favourite comment last year was someone said that I look scary, but I have the demeanour of the Geico lizard, which is still a classic. I love that. So anyway, moving on from finances and things like that, I did put something out on the Facebook group asking people to send me any work that they've done, preferably people who have never done this before until they'd sort of seen the channel. And I got some responses, and really, really good responses, so I'm going to share some of those with you now. So firstly, this is David. He supported me on Buy Me a Coffee and then sent me an email sharing some of the pieces. He has sent other emails, but I'm just sort of sharing the first bit that he wrote, and he's sort of learnt from scratch reverse glass art from watching the channel and shared some really nice pieces that he's done. This being the first one that he shared, which is absolutely beautiful. Really, really nice colours, layout, everything about that is just stunning. And I think this was one, the last one he sent was the 5th thing he'd ever made. This is the 7th thing he's ever made. And they're absolutely amazing. You know, to think back of how long it took me to get to a standard like this. I mean, years, definitely, but the amount of efforts and attempts I'd made and ruined and stuff. So when people tell me these, like, you know, in single digit attempts, it's absolutely amazing. This is Evan. He contacted me again with a similar kind of thing, sort of saying it's something he'd always wanted to get into, but never really knew where to search or whether there was any instructional information out there. So he came across the channel and started trying. And, you know, I can just show you some of this stuff. This is incredible. You know, look how stunning that is. That's like a professional class, you know, a professional piece of work. It's just absolutely amazing. So he sent me a couple. Beautiful gilded door number. This was just, yeah, such a unique piece. I hadn't seen anything with that sort of style and design. So loving the sort of combination of the glitter and the glue chips. And the colour scheme is just beautiful. Yeah, everything about that, I love it. And then another just really classy single panel, glue chipped, gilded. You know, it's such classy work from people who haven't been doing this for a long time. It's so encouraging when I see that people can do this from following on from my videos. So thank you so much for sharing all this stuff that you're doing. It really is important to me to see this, and I really, really do take pleasure in seeing what people are making. This is Tim. He started about 8 months ago, and his progress has been so rapid. I'm in contact with Tim probably on a daily basis on Facebook, where he's sort of sharing the stuff he's doing, and I'm kind of either helping out or he's kind of sharing ideas with me. Really good guy, but when I see how quickly he's taken to this, like, it's absolutely amazing. He's also done a few commissions, which is always really good to hear. You know, within the first year, getting some good commissions and then looking as good quality as they do. This is another one of Tim's, beautiful piece. You know, look at the finish of that. It's just stunning, crisp, lovely colours, gold shine. It just looks, yeah, love it. And then lastly, we've got Valerie, who's got a background in calligraphy. So, you know, she's really used to hand lettering and stuff like that, but hadn't ever tried reverse glass until she'd seen the channel and then gave it a go. And she shared pictures of her first piece with me, which are absolutely stunning. You know, look at how gorgeous that is. It's just, everything about that is perfect. Like, it's hand done, the colours are gorgeous, it's just so crisp, and the font is not, I don't know, it's just everything about this is just so good. I'm just so pleased that, you know, she's taken to that so quickly, and I hope to see more things in the future. So, like with anyone, you know, I love seeing the stuff on the Facebook group, but if you ever want to kind of get in contact with me and share work just privately with me or ask advice, and you can always email me and I will always respond. It's happygilder1@gmail.com. So yeah, thank you ever so much, guys, for sending those. They're absolutely amazing, and I'm just so pleased to see how well people are doing from following the video. So I must be doing something right, eh? So where does that leave me for 2023? Well, I've still got a huge list of videos I want to do. I fulfilled my promises that I made in my last end of year video, which were my video on hand drawing scrolls and the anatomy of scroll work, mirror silvering and tonal etching. So I did get them in at the last minute, but yeah, I'm really glad I sort of managed to get those done. I've committed to another 2 sort of quite long videos for the Heritage Crafts Fund, but I'm just going to keep going. You know, I've got a lot of ideas, but I think there might be more in the way of sort of longer workshops, because I've covered so many individual techniques that I haven't really made anything for myself that's sort of big and grand for a while, not since that piece back there, and that was, yeah, over a year ago. So I think there'll be a few more of the feature length type workshops, so there might be a bit of a bigger gap in between, but I'll make sure they're sort of extra long videos. So I'm really pleased with where things are at. And it's not just, you know, my efforts and the sort of craft growing. You know, as you're probably aware, Dave Smith's now doing online classes, which I've promoted in some of my videos, and I'll be putting a link to in, well, every future video, I think, because Dave's a good friend, his classes are amazing, and, you know, you can learn from me to a point, you know, but if you want to really kind of take this seriously and learn everything you possibly can, he's the man to go and see, you know, because, yeah, he's forgotten more stuff than I know, basically. So I can't recommend his course enough, and it's really one of the best things you can do. But anyway, that leaves me to say thank you again. It's still a humbling experience. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm loving making loads of new friends on the Facebook group and, you know, through the YouTube chats. And, you know, it's just so lovely to see that people are actually picking this up and doing it. And yeah, so I think that's it for this year. But if you did fancy buying me a quick pint, there's the buy me a coffee link in the description. That'll certainly go towards a good cause, which will be to get me a bit fatter over the Christmas period. But that also leads me on to say, I hope you all have a lovely Christmas and a happy new year. And I will be seeing you in 2023. So till next time, cheers.